What up with it, YouTube? It's Coffee. Back at it with the news, man. Hip hop news and much more. Y'all know how we rock, man. And getting right into it, first up, Snoop Dogg got himself a cereal, man. Snoop Loops. Y'all see that? Like, it only makes sense that Snoop Dogg has a cereal, right? I always, when Snoop comes into the discussion and I just talk about how big Snoop is and how he's transcended hip hop, pop culture, Hollywood. Well, not like he made a major splash in Hollywood, but he's been in movies. Shit, he's been in Trailer Park Boys. But the one thing that I always bring up is that he done collabed with Martha Stewart. Snoop's been everywhere. Another thing I always say is that your grandma knows who Snoop is, even if she don't know ish about hip hop. That's how big he is. So it only makes sense that he has a cereal. Apparently, it's like Fruit Loops, but with Snoop on the box. You know what I mean? Moving along, man, we got to talk about the game. And I know you're probably like, damn, Coffee, I'm all gamed out when it comes to the news, right? And I feel you, because it's been nonstop game in the news. And, to really put it in perspective with him just having the album drop, you're supposed to be all in the news when the album drops. But the fans ain't supposed to be sick of you. They're supposed to be cheering you on. That's the way it's supposed to be presented to the people, not a bunch of promotional mishaps that make you look like more of a jackass than you ever did in the first place. And I guess we can blame that on his management. Whack 100, come on, B, you all over the place, man. Get it together. Like, I know Whack, as I pointed out before, inherited the game. He wasn't a client. Like, he got the game in an underhanded type of way as a client. But regardless, however he views his clients, the game's the biggest one. Or I don't know, maybe now Blueface done passed up the game as far as making money to Whack. I know a lot of people probably be like, Coffee, you're tripping, you're bugging, what the fuck is wrong with you? Believe me, I'm not a Blueface fan at all. But things have just went really bad for Game, and I'll put it like that and I'll leave it like that. But getting into what we're talking about here with the Game, why his name is in the news once again, and it's for multiple reasons here, guys, so hang on with me, you know what I mean? Don't just hear the sales quoted and want to dip up out the video. We got some other ish to get into, but basically Drillmatic's first week projected sales, and that's with physical actual sales or downloads and streams. They have the whole formulaic equation, however many streams equals a sale, and that includes singles off the project as well, is less than 40,000. And of course, everyone's comparing that to Eminem, who, some spots that divvy up the views and the sales and everything and charted are saying it's number 6 on the Billboard for albums. Some are saying it's number 5. Regardless, Eminem is, coming in at with like 43,000 equivalent album units. I'm seeing other being quoted at 45, but regardless, the point of this comparison with the whole Game Eminem beef going on is that M outsold the Game. He outcharted the Game. It is what it is. When it comes to me, I'm not the guy that's going to sit here and tell you that sales or chart position means you're the better rapper. No, but regardless from that, and in the Game's project, Curtain Call 2 is a greatest hits project, which I'm not against artists dropping greatest hits projects, but I'm just like, I looked at it as a way to cash in. You know what I mean? Like, I know there's a couple new exclusive tracks on there, but for the most part, it's older-ish, repackaged and put back out on another album. You know what I mean? That's cashing in, which when you had a very successful career and you can do that and your fans will eat it up, you probably should, like, at least once. I'm not a fan of when artists do it 2-3 times. Like, that's wild lame, but point is, Eminem outcharted and outsold and outstreamed the Game for opening week, album versus album. That's what everyone's talking about here.
The name Drillmatic, where did that come from?
Illmatic is one of my illest
hip-hop albums of all time. And then drill music is what the new generation of rap is what they doing. So it's basically a mashup of like old school and new school.
I just dropped this month. If you could collaborate with any artist outside of rap and R&B,
mine easy. Mine's always gonna be Amy Winehouse.
Why Amy?
Cause she hardest. Yo, her voice, man. Her voice and then my voice over some jazz music would just be on some other shit. We probably gotta like sample some Amy or something and put it over some trombones or something and go.
Those clips right there come from something that they recorded a while ago, because you guys see recently, right when Drillmatic was dropping, the game appeared on No Jumper and some other platforms where he cut his hair. He still got the braids on this one, and this was for Billboard. This was just a clip. This wasn't the whole thing. Him and Hit Boy, you know, because Hit Boy executive produced this project for the game, and I'm wondering what kind of bag they gave Hit Boy, because I'm thoroughly convinced Hit Boy would not executive produce a project for the game where game stands, you know, in the pecking order in the rap game, and where Hit Boy does. You know what I mean? Like, or maybe he would. I just for some reason I'm not really buying it. I think they gave this guy a big bag. It was part of the budget. Who knows? It might have been the biggest part of the budget went to Hit Boy for this project. Who knows? But you hear them asking Game, where did you come up with the name? Obviously, we already knew part of Drillmatic was based off Illmatic by Nas. That's the old school, the new school drill music. So it's the old school mixed with the new. I like that concept for the name of the project. I think that's dope. But there was a bit of a shocker there to me when they said, Game, who would you want to collab with if you could collab with anyone? He's like, oh man, y'all already know it's Amy Winehouse. Like, I didn't know that. Did you know that? I would have never guessed it. Who would have thunk it? Game wants to collab with Amy Winehouse over some jazz beats. Let me know if y'all can see it. Are you a fan of Amy Winehouse? R.I.P. to her. She passed away wild young, you know? It's crazy. She had that whole rehab song, and then sure enough, she really needed to go to rehab. And I'm not trying to be funny or comical, because if you tune into my platform on the regular, you guys already know I'm well aware, up close and personal, with addiction and all that. But that's just crazy the way it all went down with Amy Winehouse. Moving along, man, Meg Thee Stallion, who it just hit the news. If you guys didn't see, I covered it in my other video. She paid Future $250,000 for a verse. That's crazy, y'all. I mean, I'm sure we all figure Future gets a hefty bag for a feature verse, but that still just kind of blew my mind hearing her break it all the way down. But what's hitting the news here, not major news, not really music related like that. She did an episode of Fallon, much like Madonna just did, where she was talking all that wild, crazy-ish regarding Kendrick Lamar. But she put Fallon onto pickles with hot Cheetos inside of it. I've never heard of that. And she's claiming that's an H-Town, Houston delicacy. Anyone from Houston, please hit the comments. Is this a real thing? Is this how y'all do it in Houston? Pickles with hot Cheetos in them? I'm not mad if y'all are. I've just never heard of it. And the crazy thing, too, I don't know how old Meg Thee Stallion is, and I didn't even really care to research. But she's like, this is a delicacy I grew up on, like, from my youth. Like, didn't hot Cheetos only come out around like 2010? Ain't they only been in the game for like 10 years or something like that? I don't know. How about this, though, guys? Kanye West, it's hitting the news. Back when he was with Amber Rose, that was a long time ago. He, you know, Kanye likes to get extra drippy and do the extra fashion-ish, always trying to set trends and everything. He used to get these backpacks that he would rock. And apparently he had this company, Goyard. I'm not even gonna lie, I probably sound like a fool to anyone who is really into the whole fashion game. I don't know ish about it. He had them make him a one-of-one robot face backpack that I guess he paid like $55,000 for. And it's just, or he bought it and sold it to someone, I think. And they're trying to resell it for $100K right now for a backpack. Can y'all believe that? Do you guys remember this robot face backpack? I don't remember it. I really don't. I remember robot films. Do you guys remember robot films? Used to pop up in a lot of hip hop videos back in the day. But I don't know. Kanye with the backpacks. Shout out to him, you know, fashion trendsetter. It is what it is. What are you gonna do, right?
What do you think kind of caused the decline in Murder Inc.?
I mean, I think it was pretty obvious, you know, being federally indicted. I'd say.
Right. But they beat that case, though.
The damage was done. You know what I mean? Like, that went on for a long time. Obviously, the beef with 50 and Ja, you know what I mean? It was a lot. And when you think about it, me and Ja were the most successful ones on the record label. So when everybody was making their diss records or whatever, it's not like me and Ja was going to make a diss record together. You know what I mean? Everyone else, they were doing, you know, whatever they were doing on the other side. And it was a whole lot of darts being thrown. So it's kind of like him being the big star, you know, Caddy and Black Child, but again, it was kind of like me and him. So it didn't make a lot of sense for me and him to collectively do something together towards someone else. So, you know, Joe and Jada and, you know, other people, but it was a really crazy time. You know, again, I don't want to get too much into the politics of it all, but again, envy and jealousy is a mean trait. Being bitter is really mean. It's not a good characteristic.
How about that clip there from Ashanti, right? Talking about the downfall of Murder Inc. Vlad just featured that as a flashback. Vlad's a beast with the content, whether you like him or not. You know, he always tries to get the, you know, newer individuals who are trending in the news for different stories in there for an interview. But in a situation like this right now, where Gotti, as I shared in a recent video, he's being memed right now for being a bitter, can't let the past go, just dickhead, to put it simply. And, you know, Vlad goes into the archives and pulls out flashback of him interviewing Ashanti about the downfall of Murder Inc. Now, you heard her talk about the feds indicting them. This we know. And you heard him talking about they beat the case. Well, you know why that happened. The feds were very strategic. They didn't even want Murder Inc. But Murder Inc. was fucking with Kenneth Supreme McGriff, the Supreme Dream Team and all that. There's a documentary out right now. Is it on Showtime or one of those networks regarding, you know, these street legends and everything, the Supreme Team? They wanted to stall out Murder Inc. You even heard her talking about, yeah, that situation went on for a long time. The feds did that on purpose because when it was all going on, they froze Murder Inc.'s bank accounts, their assets, their revenue. They couldn't get to ish. And what money they could have access to, they had to tap into to pay their own legal fees. So the feds basically broke them down so they couldn't help out Supreme. And they, you know, effectively convicted him and slayed him. And then at the same time, you heard her. Everyone came dissing. G-Unit, 50, M, and all that. And she was like, yeah, we had Cadillac, what was it, Ty Murder, Cadillac Ty, and Black Child trying to rep off on mixtapes and everything. But more or less, when it came to the public, when they thought of Murder Inc., they thought of Ja and Ashanti. She's like, yo, we could make hits together. I'm not always there when you call, but I'm always on time. But as far as them getting together in the lab to put out a diss to try to go at 50, M, D12, G-Unit, it wasn't going to happen. They would, like, you know, they effectively got killed off. Like, the feds killed off the finances, and then G-Unit, Shady, Aftermath, Interscope killed off the rest of what they had going on as far as popularity to the people, and washed their hands of it. And that's the way it went, man. So there you guys have it. That concludes the news on this one. Jump in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on all these news stories. Don't forget to subscribe. Stay tuned if you're new. Daily videos where we talk music, news, sports, current events, life, and much, much more. I'm up out here, y'all. Peace.